My moonshot is to empower entrepreneurs around the world. My moonshot was born out of just a series of questions, simple questions that I asked myself when I was working in East Africa 11 years ago, meeting entrepreneurs who had incredible potential but not access to a lot of resources. So I started to just ask some basic what ifs. What if I stayed in touch with them? What if I could be useful in their lives in a different way than I initially thought? And that spiraled into Kiva and into other work that I've gotten to be a part of. As I look at the big decisions that I've made over the course of my career, none of them at the time felt that big. It didn't, to me, feel big to quit my job and move to the other side of the planet. It didn't, to me, feel big to experiment and start what became, full-blown organizations later just by doing a little pilot round of loans or taking those early first steps. So I get it. I know that thanks to business school, I'm pretty risk tolerant. I understand that, but I didn't feel like I needed in those big decision moments, apparently, to psych myself up or to say, let's go for it. I always felt like in and of itself, the path would be fulfilling. So worst case, I'd have a great adventure. Worst case, I'd, try something and learn. One of the most incredible gifts in my life is my family. So my parents, my brother, now my husband and my kids are incredibly supportive, and I've always had this community of friends and family who support me through the good, bad, ugly, crazy, everything. I don't think that can be underestimated, the importance of that. So I've always felt like I've had a safe place to come home to, a group of people who were always going to love me no matter what worked or didn't work out in the world that I was trying to do. One of the more difficult aspects at the very beginning of Kiva and then of ProFounder and of other things I've gotten to be a part of has always been communicating this new thing, but yet meeting people where they are. So sort of finding the right language to help people understand the new thing from this, from the world that they live in. So maybe it's just a language thing, but I remember like with Kiva, we would talk to nonprofit folks and say, okay, it's like a donation or it's like sponsor a child programs, except this and this and this. And for for-profit folks, we'd say, okay, it's kind of like investing, or it's like if you could be a venture capitalist, but you're investing in a farmer or a goat herder, and you're not getting the same kind of return. So to sort of, like I said, meet people where they are, but yet describe the new thing and really get their buy-in on that, I think in the early days is always an interesting and somewhat challenging process. Looking at the ups and downs of the entrepreneurial journey, not as successes or failures, but just as opportunities to learn. Sounds kind of cliche, but it really has helped me. So thinking about the process, the entrepreneurial journey sort of as this ongoing process of iteration, where I try something, see if it works, or see how well it works, or how well it does not work, and then refine that and try again the next day. I think that's very freeing, and that's very, that attitude has helped me be resilient and not feel stuck and not feel like, oh, woe is me, I failed in this moment. Just look at it as a learning experience and keep moving forward. One of the earliest mistakes I made was not starting soon enough. I didn't realize fully at the very beginning of my career how I was sort of looking around, kind of waiting for somebody, goodness knows who, to give me permission to start, to dub me, qualified to go do the thing I wanted to do or to try this experiment we wanted to try to put out into the world. So I think for a while I was sort of waiting for permission, and it was a mistake that we recovered from, and everything turned out fine, but I look at the lost time and I look at, I now kind of check myself and say, okay, who am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? And it's helped me to speed things up and to try and to succeed or learn, fail/learn more quickly, which has been a great thing. In any entrepreneurial journey, it's a little bit crazy making because there are things going right and things that are totally out of your control, surprises, kind of small crises to take care of every day. So if you go by feel, you're going to go nuts. If you just let what's happening determine your attitude, it's not going to be pretty. And so I think you celebrate the small victories where you can, but you never get too comfortable. You never sit back and rest on your laurels and say, all right, we've got it, we've nailed this thing. You just keep learning as you go. I think one of the most unexpected things for me was stepping away from Kiva after it had been my life and my identity and my baby for years. And what happened, the unexpected result of that was that it allowed me this precious, unique, and well-timed, actually, even though I didn't know that at the moment, this well-timed opportunity to redefine myself and reinvent myself and decide that I didn't just have to be or get to be really, this person that got to be a part of the early days of Kiva, but I could be an entrepreneur that might do many things in the world, and that was just one of them. So it helped me step back, gain perspective, and kind of redefine who I could be in a more meta way, in a broader way. There's two things that I practice and that luckily are easy for me and kind of come naturally. But one, I'm a grateful person. I'm so thankful for the life that I have, for the people that I have in my life. So I wake up with gratitude and I try to practice that and teach my kids to practice that. And then second, I just really love people. So I think when you love people, life is fun. I don't mind getting in the trenches and kind of going through the ups and downs and going through stuff that's difficult. If we're all kind of committed to each other and doing things together. So, and it's helped me discover things and be a really good listener, I think, at times when I've needed to, because I find it fascinating and I kind of don't get sick of it. So gratefulness and a love of other people. I think those two things have helped me a lot. My best piece of advice to somebody else thinking about launching their idea or their dream is don't worry about starting small. That's how it happens. That's how it goes. I see people, because they are so many, it's easy to see other examples all over the place of great big organizations or projects that succeeded wildly above expectations or just successful individuals. It's often not dwelled upon very much, the beginnings of those things. But it's usually somebody kind of playing make-believe, saying, maybe I could do this, maybe I could dream up this company or this nonprofit or this project or whatever it is, sitting at their kitchen table or wherever they are, making it up as they go, and then putting themselves out there in a pretty vulnerable way to try serving one person with their new thing, their idea, or making a scrappy sort of prototype and seeing if anyone likes it. So don't be embarrassed or afraid of those small beginnings, because that's just how everything starts. So own it, be proud, and be as proud with your scrappy prototype as you will be in a year from now with your amazing, perfectly polished, in high demand thing that you want to make. So don't worry about starting small. Maybe this is the mama in me speaking, but I want to have a legacy of love. And I think, it's super touchy-feely, but I think a lot of the work that I've gotten to be a part of and that I want to be a part of is work that helps, have people be seen and feel appreciated and feel empowered. And that's some thread of love. And I think in all the rest of my life with my relationships, my family, which is my priority, I want my kids and my husband and all my family and my friends to feel deeply loved. That's my job.